Man, I'm so happy to be here today. My name is P.Y. Dubois. I'm so proud to be a part of this great initiative, OurStory Festival, the first of its kind. Today was day one. We had some great panelists discussing health issues, discussing our rights as Black and Africans, telling our stories. We had film screenings of very historic information. You know, when they came in here and then they stole all our great artifacts, you know, where they stored it and all that. There was a film shown today, which was very good. And so excited. It's been a really good day. Shout outs to our Kwetia, our MC. Great food from different vendors. We have clothes, we have jewelry from some of the finest art creators here from Ghana. And we are live right here at Ijula, the #1 creative co-working space in Ghana, period. If you haven't heard about us, come check us out right here, opposite Atomic Energy, right here at Ijula. Meet the creative minds behind it, Chichi and Desmond, great people. Yes, you really want to check it out. If you don't have a place, it's 24 hours. You can create here, work here any time of the day, of the year. That's what Ijula brings to the table. Big shout outs to Sherry Thompson, our founder, Mama Lou, for bringing this together, bringing all of us together to be able to collaborate, to be able to partner and keep telling our stories. It's all about us, telling our stories, learning our stories, impacting in the next generation. I know you want to be a part of this, so check out our social media handles. Go to @Ijula or go to @Black OurStory Festival, or you can check us out at My Prime Entertainment, my company. Yes, we are into production where we do movies, films, events, festivals, what have you.
Madam.
Just say Sherry.
Dr. Sherry.
You giving me a doctorate?
Yes.
Okay.
You're a professor, you're everything, you're smart.
I'm going to Suriname to get that honorary doctorate.
Because you're an African lady.
Amen.
All of us came from universities that people don't know of. Right? That is our story. We don't talk about the Western universities, but we talk about the African university. And most likely we disregard ourselves when we want to compare ourselves with the Western way of thinking. And then we think we are not worthy being there and have the title they created and they give to themselves and sometimes give to us. If you look at the picture there is my mother. And I don't really look like her. She was not educated, but she was a professor. Because of her, I can speak English and I can speak Dutch. Because Suriname resistance made 6 kingdoms that still live like they were living in Africa. On 6 big rivers of Suriname. We had plantation slavery, but they were successfully leaving the plantation, killing some of the colonizers, and took their brothers
Successfully
away.
killing the colonizers.
And they lived, and when they went into the forest, the rivers of Suriname, they created kingdoms and tribes like they knew it in Africa. And they still are there. I thought the paramount chief name was out of the English, but when I came to Africa, I knew they took it from Accra, Gaman chief. Oh. And the paramount chief is called Gaman. So we have 6 Gaman in 6 big rivers in the forest of Suriname. And the eastern tribes, there are 3 in the east of Suriname. The Okanisi, I hear you have that word here, Okanisi. Okanisi tribe, and I'm an Okanisi woman. And the language we speak is Okanisi. And one of the fighters was a Jacob, and they used to call him Boston Band in Jamaica because he was enslaved there. And when they sold him to Suriname, he successfully left where he was and bonded with the other freedom fighters. And he was the only one that could write and read in English. So he didn't call himself Boston Band anymore. He called himself Ajako. And all of them had names that they knew were in Africa. One of them, of one of the tribe, is named by him, and that is Boni. And Boni, one of the Bonis had a fort called Buku, and I hear Buku is a river here in Accra. I did not know that until I came here. And his fort, he called it Buku, and his name was Boni. And then we have a village in the river where I was born as Okanisi called Kotika, and a village is there called Tamaling. I didn't know it was a region in Ghana. I went to Tamaling, and I hear they have this festival called Damba, and my cousin's name are Damba. Yes, I called one of them and told her I found your region. And when I mentioned my father's name, a tribe came to my office and said we are family. Because my father's name was Bisato, Bisa. And still there are people there in different tribes called Bisa. A young man, I adopted him as my spiritual son, was Bisa Akimboto, is his name. And the resistance was started since they started slavery in Suriname in 1592. And then they have their tribes. So one of the names is Okanisi, the other name is Pamaka, and they have a Gama. And then the Aluku or Boni. And they never wanted to sign a peace treaty with the colonial leaders. The largest tribe among us is the Samaka. They are living at the upper Suriname River in the central part of Suriname. I can understand that language, but I cannot speak that language. Their leader that signed the peace treaty was Adu. And the Ajako people are there. The other tribe is called Matawai, is at the Saramaka River. And the smallest tribe is the tribe called Quinti. So there are 6 of us, and they are still living like they knew it in Africa. 25 years ago, I came to Ghana as a young scientist. In 1997, we came to the Panafest with 4 of the paramount chiefs. And we went to Kumasi, and when we came, we saw ourselves. And I cannot elaborate too much about us. I have pictures I cannot show you. My mom's name was Majo. I hear it's an airway word.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So maybe I'm an airway as well. My uncle's name is Akoma. I hear it's heart, means heart.
Yeah.
And the village he's the head chief of is called Ajumakonde. And you have Ajumakonde.
Yeah.
My grandmother's big sister name was Danso. And there are Dansos. You can Google, you can go to Facebook, you will find a lot of Dansos there. The names we have of the resistance fighters were Kojo, Kwaku, Kwasi, Abena. We have the Anansi story, and his wife was born on a Wednesday, and she was called Akuba. Anansi story is how they taught us. What they did in the plantations as resistance, they created the duku. They made from the duku, I hear that is how you call it here too. This is the scarf. This is duku. And then we call it anisa as well. I hear it's an African word as well. And this, it has meanings. That is how they would communicate. If a woman was in love, she would make a duku called "Wait for me" at the corner. And if you see, when I presented my credentials to the president of the country, the head tie I had on was "Let them talk." And there is a lot. There is a book, but it is sold out right now about all the meanings. And sometimes they will tell you your piece of, you know what, don't talk to me. And the plantation slavery was harsh in Suriname. So I'm taking some things out of it to tell you because it is a very long, complicated story. When the slave women were on the plantation, they used to walk naked. But then they clothed them. Why? Because these African women were very pretty. And sometimes the owner would fall in love with them. And there is this story about Madame du Plessis, because not only Dutch owners were there, it was a Dutch colony, but you would have friends and other ones would be there as well. And then you had this Madame du Plessis. Her house is still in the capital of Suriname, Paramaribo. You can read about it on Google. So I will just tell you a little bit about her. When she saw that her husband was in love with this beautiful African girl, she took her, and she would not do the job, but the slaves would do it themselves. She took her to the backyard and brought back her breast on a plate to her husband. When the babies would cry, when you have a baby, and the baby would cry, she would take this baby from you and say, I will help you to silence the baby. She would take the baby to a bridge on the riverside, drown the baby, bring the baby back for you. If you were trying to run away in Suriname, they would have on the yard an iron hook, and they would ask the slaves that they would call Basiadus, who were the strongest one, they would ask them to plug you in a hook, an iron hook on the yard, and they would slowly cut your arms or your legs. And they would assemble the slaves around to see what will happen to them if they try to run away. What they did next, they made them dresses, long dresses, and then we call it koto. And because they had straight backs, they would make the top of it like it bubbles, so they won't see the beauty of you. But the women were very smart. They took it and they made it so beautiful, so even if you don't see her line, she was still pretty. And if you come to Suriname at the 1st of July, is our Emancipation Day, you will see people go with this, the head tie, Anissa, with different meaning. We still create the meanings. This group is called Creole, and we have one called, a recent one called Call Me on My Cell Phone. If you want it, we can have it from Suriname for you. Call me on my cell phone. So we are still creating it in those days. And the last thing I want to say about us, you see me going around with this top. This is a wrap. We call pandi. But whenever I put it here on my shoulder like in Africa, it becomes kaikom or banjakosu. Banjakosu is the language I don't speak. Kaikom is my language. So when you put it like this, it has something to say. Meaning I'm very polite and I know all the protocols to behave. So if you make the knot like this, you know how to behave. But if you do it differently, like how he has it on his shoulder, Meaning it is nothing word is like chicken butt. Chicken butt. And the Maroon women, I talked to ladies here, they could keep themselves young by steaming themselves with herbs. So they will always look young. If anyone look at me, you might think I'm 52. I'm 50, right? I look like 50.
Yes.
I'm not 50. I'm 63. I'm a Maroon woman. So, and I do what I told her. And that secret is only for me and the women. Right? And we use it. And health-wise, I want to say this, and then whatever question, herbs, we use herb for medicine. Even if my baby is born, be premature born, we can make that baby look like a 9-month-old baby in 2 weeks using herbs. And if your bone is broken, we break the leg of a bird and we put the medicine on it. If it cured in 1 week, you are cured in 1 week too. The village is still there called Daume. And Daume, everybody goes to Daume, and they don't allow anyone else go there, but you have to look like them up until today. And they went over rapids, waterfalls, and mountains to free themselves. Those in the plantation were coffee and cocoa and other plantation. And they would kill you in the plantation, in the sugar plantation. If you are like this young man staring the how you call it? To make the sugar, you see? And your hand accidentally fall into it. They make another slave called Basia, cut your hand and throw it in it. Or if they can throw you in the big pot called kapa, it's an iron pot, throw you in while you are alive. That is how Suriname slavery was. It was a slavery that no one talked about. People didn't know we had Maroons in Suriname because they called us Bush Negro. And we had a language. We still play the talking drum, apinti. We have the apinti still. All dance styles is still same, communicating. And the language that we use, it is secret. It's a secret language. We call it Kumanti. And I would rebuke my cousin when he would call me in the morning because I'm a Christian, and I would say, in Jesus' name, I rebuke you. And when I came to Ghana in 1997, I heard that word in a gospel festival. So I asked the girl, what does it mean? She said, the God that created everything. Right. And I was like, what? And it's Twijampong. We call it Kijampong. Because, you know, it changed, but it's the same meaning. Inzu is water. With that said, I didn't learn it here, we still say it. There's a lot that we kept. Chobomoni is my language. Saka Saka is my language. Right? It's your language too. I hear it's a village and it's a low level. That's how we use it. Jaja is when you're fearless. I hear it comes from Nigeria. And one of our modern day freedom fighter, when they study his genes, he comes from the Igbo of Nigeria. There's a lot of us, all tribes, all people of West Africa is there. And we still live like kings. All the kings have their palaces. And my king, his name is a tribe name as well. Bono Felanti, that is my Dama name. Right? Are we not Africa in diaspora?
Yes.
You've not heard of us because they would not talk about us. And the same people, the scientists that were talking about you, with Sherry, in my Kia, that is Ubuntu, Kia. I should not call you Sherry. I should call you Ma Sherry or Sa Sherry, sister. I should never say Sherry. So it's not the African way.
That's right.
You don't call anyone by her name. You call her Sisa or Ma,
That's right.
Dada, Papa, Ma. That is how you call them, not the Western way. So I'm so old-fashioned. So they call me Mafide, and I love that name. Everybody, Mafide. That is my nickname. So what I want to tell you, I thank God that He placed me in Africa. There's so much more to tell. If you look at the picture that I wanted to show you, you would see, the cut in the face of the movie they saw there. My grandmother had it. It's Kokoti, it's beauty. They would have it around their navel and in their face. That was fashion, Kokoti. We still do a lot of Africa in Suriname, nowhere to be found but Suriname. Come and you need to speak my language. And when you come in my language, we don't say Akwaba, we say Wada, Wadao, and you say Fimao. There is a code to know whether you're free or not.
Yes.
There were red beret people, they bought from Africa to get us, and the Maroon caught them and gave them an island to live in the east part. And these people, we call them Lebimusu because they are trader, red beret. But they say they gave themselves up, but I don't think, but they are very well known and smart. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So what I got from that is that resistance means that you keep what you have. That's part of resistance. You don't let it go. You keep it. You send it down to the children and the children's children. That is part of resistance. You resist the complete programming of your mental faculties. You keep that seed, that small seed, keep that in a secret place. Nobody should know where that is. Thank you. Thank you so much.
If I can say this is Pangi, when it's here is Kaikong, when it's here is Pangi. All this has something to say. Is when you're lazy in farming, we call it tulu tulu. That means you leave things behind when you're farming. You're a lazy woman. You see, this is when it's togetherness, right? It's like the chain saw, like a saw, but they are together cutting things. So all this, if the Pangi lines up, good, meaning I have peace with all my mothers-in-law. When it's like this, that means I cuss them.
And in Ghana, your cloth speaks. There's certain cloth you cannot give your mother-in-law, or she will cuss you. There's certain cloth, and I love Kenyan cloth. They write it in the language down at the hem side. So if you want to insult somebody, you wear a certain cloth. And the insult is there. And then, she's saying that to me? Come and see. The next day, another cloth. That will insult her. Hey! Charlie, we have a rich culture in Africa. And it didn't fall away